Hey everyone, it's your girl Sensei Victoria Whitfield here, your journey partner in business, welcoming you back to episode 126 of the Journeypreneur Podcast. This is your source for channeled holistic stress management techniques, guidance, inspiration, and motivation to stay on your path to rapid financial ascension and massive impact as a conscious entrepreneur. So on this podcast episode, I am super grateful to get to bring to you my dear friend Soumya Gayatri. She is an incredible weight loss, health, and nutrition coach for women, especially of Indian origin. And I know now more than ever, Mama, we have got to hear what you're saying. So welcome to the podcast, Goddess.
Hey, thank you so much, Victoria. I'm so excited to talk to you today and share my journey and share tips on how we can not get on the quarantine 15. Yes, right now, you're so right. This is a time when all of us are at home. We are eating out of boredom because we are frustrated, we are anxious, we are stressed. So I hear you on that.
It's so true. Now, with that being said, though, before we get into it, I love it, the Quarantine 15. Before we get into that, this may be somebody's very first time meeting you or getting to hear your story. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself, but especially what are the three things that you're known for in your business? Could you tell us?
I'm so happy to share that. Thank you so much. I am a weight loss coach. I'm a health coach from Institute of Integrative Nutrition. I graduated back in 2013, and I have been on this journey of um, giving up my foods. So I primarily work with Indian women, but it's actually for ethnic women. We come from different cultures, so um, all these diets seem to be geared towards giving up our ethnic foods that we grow up with, and that doesn't go down any well, because after you have lost the weight, you go back to eating your foods and then the weight comes back on. Or if you're emotionally eating, you will reach out to the foods that you have grown up with. That's just natural, right? So that's where I did my research and actually got an aha moment for myself that um, this is not going to work for me if I'm going to eat soups and salads for the rest of my life.
Oh, yes.
I need to figure out a better way uh, to get my nutritional needs met, so that I don't emotionally eat and I don't binge eat or I don't get cravings. So the three things that I am known in my business would be, I am very good as an engineer. I'm very good at also picking up patterns. My analytical skills also kick in, right? So I'm very good at analyzing. So if you say that I get a lot of migraines, I'm with you to see what's going on. So I will go back 3 weeks from now and start seeing what's going on, right? Um, what's going on. So I'm very good at that. So I bring in my analytical skills as well, and I'm very good at spotting these patterns as to why you're starting to fall into these loops of fatigue, maybe a migraine, maybe emotional eating, picking up on the emotional stressors that are actually causing these patterns. So I'm very good at spotting emotional stressors. I'm very good at spotting patterns, and of course, the uh, we're all adults here, so I'm going to use all the bullshit that goes on with the emotional bullshit. I have to eat because I want to be a part of something. I want to eat because I don't want to feel left out. I want to eat because I'm bored, and I want to eat because I'm tired, and I want to eat because I did so good this week. Like, I was on it, right? I did my 10K steps every day. I ate my foods. Now, Friday night or Saturday morning, I need to celebrate. Yes, I'm gonna get my cheeseburger, my fries, and for the Indian in me, the samosas and the rice and the naan and the
Mm.
paneer, and I'm gonna go and lather it in butter and some heavy cream and just enjoy it, right? So we need to. So as much as I identify with it, that is nothing but self sabotage. So I empower my clients to recognize these patterns for themselves, because an aha is an aha when you get it and not when somebody else points it.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm there to guide the way through. for everybody to for that person to understand for themselves what their patterns are. And of course, weight loss follows. I mean, then it becomes then it just becomes easy because you're going to be on the plan because you understand why you are not on the plan that you chose to be on, right? So
Mhm.
just weight loss just follows.
Oh, I love it. That's so gorgeous. And I love how organic that is. And it's so true. Like the comfort foods that we're brought up with, especially as a people of color, like are fatty and rich and like lots of gluten. And oh my God, when you started talking about naan, I was like, oh yeah, garlic naan, give it to me.
Yes,
Oh,
give it to me. Let me dunk it in some paneer butter masala and
yes.
heaven. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And as much as I don't believe in starvation and I don't believe in deprivation and I don't believe in um depriving ourselves of food, uh, but it needs to be in a plan. If you need to eat it, put it in the plan. I mean, that's what I always say. Make a plan and stick to it and add these foods to your plan. You want to eat ice cream, add it to your plan and work your way around it. But don't try to sneak in a small, don't try to stand in the pantry and your refrigerator or your freezer and try to stuff ice cream so that nobody's watching because nobody is watching. It's only you who is responsible for it. It's only you who is uh, at the end of the day, you are answering to yourself, not to anybody else, right?
This is
Yes.
so true. Oh, I love it. And with that, like, there's got to be a backstory here. Like, I'm curious, what was did something happen? Like, what was the point where you realized, oh my gosh, I've got to be a health coach, especially for women of color? Like, what I got to start this business. What happened to inspire you to really start on this journey that you've been on?
So there are two parts to the story. I became a health coach back in 2013 because I was so tired of um, always dieting. I was always dieting from the time I hit puberty. Somebody pointed out my thighs, and that was it. I went on this. I have always been on a spiral. I mean, it's been a journey for me to kind of start loving my body and start tuning into my body, right? And say, hey, I appreciate you, right? The trigger was my daughter when she was born, right? In 2011. I did not want her to go through all that I went through, right? I wanted to be informed about what the right foods are because there's so much information floating on the internet. It can be really hard to decipher what's the right food. So today it's keto, tomorrow it's paleo, tomorrow it's the caveman diet, and then comes something else. There's the low fat diet, and there's so many diets out there. So where do I fit in? Like, and then I was always constantly searching to lose weight, lose weight. Like food became a source of weight loss. Before eating something, I would say, am I going to put on weight? I mean, I lost the scope that food is actually nutrition, right? We are nourishing our bodies here. I mean, nourishing our souls here. So that flip had to happen. So 2013, I graduated. I started becoming more conscious of what I was eating, the foods I was eating. I was new to America as well. I came in 2008. So the foods were new here. I was trying to navigate my way, and I had heard the very famous line that everybody in America puts on weight. Like, uh,
Yeah.
I heard the freshman 15, I'm now hearing the quarantine 15.
Uh-huh.
And I found that for myself as well. If I was not conscious, I would, I love bagels, right? I love bagels. Um, so the only respite for me is that I'm a vegetarian.
Mhm.
So I don't get to actually go out and binge at McDonald's and stuff because I can't eat the foods there.
Mhm.
So that's been a saving grace for me. But I love desserts, right? So Dunkin' Donuts, oh my God, I love Cold Stone ice cream, the chocolate brownie supreme. I don't remember the name now. I used to go there back in the day. It was my favorite joint. So anything with chocolate, right?
Yes. Oh no.
Oh man, don't tell me about it, right? So give me.
Oh my goodness. This is so good. Like to be able to recognize though that relationship in your, like, I'm like having realizations and aha moments as you're speaking, that the relationship between food shifted from this is food as nutrition to food as weight loss. Like,
Right.
oh yeah, that's such a a powerful thing to realize, that like our
Yes.
mindsets can get warped. Yeah.
Yes, it does. And it's so much of, for me, I didn't realize how much marketing actually was hitting me, and
Mm,
that the images that are fed to us constantly on a daily basis have so much effect on yourself that you don't realize. I mean, I will reach for a French fry, even though I know it's not good for me. I will reach for it because the advertising is right point on, right? The messaging everywhere, speaking to us on so many levels, on TV, on radio, on print, everywhere, right? So these messages, we are kind of, they are going into our bodies, whether we like it or not. We are hanging on to these points somewhere or the other,
mhm,
right? So we have to realize that it almost becomes like a second habit for us to go to a place and then order fries, because you
mm,
got to. I mean, you got to order fries, man.
mhm,
Who
mhm.
doesn't order fries? I
Of
don't want to be the weirdo.
There's that phrase like, "Do you want fries with that?" It's like a hypnosis going in
Yes.
the back of our mind.
Yes, and then of course I have to take a large fries. I can't take a small fries,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. So true.
Right. So once I got very conscious about it, last year actually, I lost all my weight. That I was actually in a very good phase with regards to my nutrition and my fitness. I was working out. I was eating right. I was meeting all my goals for my that I have for my body. But I had a panic attack because my spouse was traveling. I was working full time. I was handling two kids, right? And I had all these shoulda, wouldas, couldas on my head. I should be a good mom. I should take them for all their activities, or they have to do swim and gymnastics and dance. And if they don't do all these enrichments, oh my God, I'm a bad mom. And then when my husband comes back home, I have to cook a good meal. Like I'm a bad wife. All these shoulda, woulda, couldas came on me, and I just piled them on myself. And I had a panic attack. I mean, of course I did. I was already doing this for 8 months or 6 months at a time, already into this thing, right? So this whole emotional baggage weighed me down. I'm not surprised it did. So that's when I actually shifted to say, what am I doing here? That was a big aha for me. That was again a shifting point for me to know that it's not just about the weight, right? It's also about the emotional eating, but also it's about my emotional health. I
Mm.
have to be emotionally healthy. I have to be able to manage these stressors that are coming to me from all angles, right? From work, from work, from the society, from myself. Actually, uh, the biggest stressor I am is me, because I am so judgmental to myself,
Mm.
right? Every single day I get up and I will judge myself.
Mm.
I didn't do this, so I'm not a good mom. I didn't talk to my dad or my mom, so I'm not a good daughter. You know?
Mm-hmm. So true. It's so true. And we've got the like when I talk to my clients about it, it's like waking up with your biggest enemy and they follow you into the bathroom. Of like, you're fat, you look crazy, what are you doing? Blah blah blah. Constantly in
Yes,
the background, like your biggest your biggest opponent,
yes,
it wakes up with you, goes and takes the shower with you, goes to the bathroom with you, follows you downstairs into the kitchen, through your everything throughout the whole
yes,
day. Hmm.
yes. And that is so true. And I had that person with me, on me, the entire time, right? Not recognizing what I was doing, not giving myself a break, always being on the go. And then on top of that, the expectations that I had from my spouse, from my kids. Oh, I'm doing so much for you now. You have to listen to me. So at least my kids, or to with my spouse. Oh, I'm doing so much in the house and at work. Now you need to, some sort of an entitlement attitude that I felt that um, I have to be, I had to be, okay? Not that I want to be. There's a difference there. I had to be acknowledged for my
Hmm.
duty or whatever I was doing, right?
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
This was all weighing me down. And then there would be fights because I would scream at my kids or with my spouse or with my friends or with my parents because I was so worn out. And I wasn't showing up for myself. I started expecting others to show up for me. Like, hey, I don't get a break for me. Why don't you tell me or send me to a salon? Or why don't you give me a break?
Mm-hmm. 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 This is so good. This is so true. Where we start to hot potato like our pain and lack of self-care
Mhm,
onto our
mhm.
loved ones, because that's who's around the most. They end up being those biggest triggers.
Yes.
And it's so I'm curious then, with that in mind, if someone's listening in or watching in on the podcast right now and they're going through that, where they're feeling exhausted and stressed, and like, okay, the quarantine 15 is coming on, and they're like disappointed in themselves. They got that inner critic going, and they're having this experience. And especially as entrepreneurs, like, we're constantly thinking
Oh,
of
yes.
like, oh my gosh, criticizing ourselves, but having this experience of like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna eat the whole tub of ice cream, or you know what, forget it, I'm a failure, this, I should just give up. I should just give up on trying to take better care of myself, give up on trying to make everything better. I should just give up on trying to eat right. Like, what would you say? Do you have any advice to them? Like, did this ever happen to you on your journey? Like, if someone's going through that, what would you say to them right now?
Absolutely has happened to me. Absolutely. I don't think this has not happened to most of this has happened to most of us, right? And the mantra that I have for myself now is to step back and see what would you do if your best friend was doing this.
Mm.
So if your best friend was out there binging on ice cream, binging on the tub of ice cream, and was having such a tough time that it was ready to put in the towel. Hey, I don't give a damn. This is what it is. I'm defeated. This is it. I mean, weight loss has defeated me, right? Take a step back and say, what would I tell my best friend?
Mm.
You would tell your best friend, it's okay. You ate that tub of ice cream, and that's fine.
Mm. Mm.
Don't feel guilty about it. It's done and over. So that's the key. Don't feel guilty about it.
Mm.
Don't marinate in that stress. Don't marinate in that shameful feeling,
Mm. Mm.
right?
Mm.
Then, second of all, you would tell them to actually take a look at themselves and say, what's going on here, right? Actually evaluate and sit down. What is this? Is this me trying to lose weight? Is this me trying to get better? I mean, is it true? First question you would ask is this true? Am I a bad entrepreneur? Or am I a bad mom? Or am I a bad sister? Or am I a bad friend?
Mm.
In which areas of my life am I showing up? Right? So the inner critic that's going on, you're not showing up here, you're not showing up here, you're not showing up here. Is this true? No, it's not.
Mm.
So meditation is a huge technique. So I I meditate every day, and I also journal every day. So even if I don't meditate every day, I will journal every single day.
Mhm.
It is very important. I'm always conscious of my thoughts. I'm always telling myself, where did that thought come from? Or, am I judging myself? I have gotten to this level of consciousness. I was not here last year. And that was my journey. And that's where I pivoted and said, okay, this is where the maximum need is. The need is not about which diet to eat and what not to eat. The need is to understand why I'm eating what I'm eating and what my own patterns are, right? That's the need of the hour, not any diet. You could be on any diet, but once you stop that diet, you're going to go back to the weight. If the weight is going to come back and it's going to feel so hard for you to maintain your healthy weight, then what's going on? So that's when the meditation comes into picture. That's when my analytical brain of my engineering comes into picture. My analysis comes into picture, right? And I'm start going, okay, where did this come from? Why am I thinking like this? Is this true? So some of this is also comes from me not feeling good enough ever in my life, right? And I start taking things that are happening, like a friend doesn't reach back. She doesn't love me. I'm
Mm.
not important to her. She's never done this. Remember that other friend? She never reached out to you either. Or remember that cousin of yours? that guy never reached out. You're not loved. You're not good enough.
Mm.
That inner critic, that ego coming up, right? You have to stop it. You have to step back. So that's when I'm so curious right now. And if that thought is coming back, I will immediately step back and say, what's going on? So be your own best friend. The least we can do is be our own best friend. That inner critic, that ego is going to be there. It's not going away. It's really not going away. The only thing I can do today is to step back and say, what will I tell my best friend? Hey, no, give them some grace. Maybe something came up. She's a mom. She has two kids or three or one kid, or she has, even if she has no kids and she's still busy, right? Something must be going on. There must be something going on with their family. She may be sick. You don't know what's going on with the person, other person on the other side. We
Mhm.
have to give them that grace, and we have to give ourselves that grace, and then say, okay, what's really going on? No, maybe she's busy. When you give grace to others, it's very easy to give grace to ourselves
Mm.
and say, no, I'm good enough. This is not true.
Mhm.
So you have to step back, and the first step is to not bash yourself or to not judge yourself for what you have already done. And this and I'm a huge I do Reiki as well, and but I also do a lot of EFT, right? So then if when you're just starting out, the biggest thing is I start tapping. So taking full responsibility, and even though I'm not a good friend, and even though I'm not a good wife, and even though this person, I expected this person to call and they didn't call, and even though, see,
Yes, look at you shifting right now. Yes.
right? So I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Yes. Uh-huh. Amen.
Excuse me. So it's just there are so many tools out there, but you have to choose to do these things. It is a choice that you get. Right. And there are so many tools out there. But if somebody is not going to take ownership of this and say, hey, I want to shift this, this is going to shift only if we take ownership of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like your best friend, you will tell your best friend to go for that dream, to go do something. Hey, no, do this and do this and do this. Like if she was in trouble and she was not feeling well, you would say, hey, get a soup, get Tylenol and get some water and get some rest.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You would give them four things to do. And because you know those four things are going to help them. So then when you know for yourself what you need to do, it's not like you don't, but we're just sometimes so caught up in our shoulda, woulda, couldas, that I have to do this and I have to do that and I should be doing this. I have to go to the party every week. I have to go to this party and I have to go meet that friend. I have to go meet this aunt. But where is this grace? So you have grace for so many people in your life, right? You're showing up for so many people. How do you show up for yourself? That's the question I ask. How do you show up for yourself in your own life?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh my goddess. This is so powerful. This is so powerful. Um, I mean it like oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to re-listen to this myself because this is so powerful. When we get into that mode, giving away all of our love, giving away all of our love, and I reiterate this all the time to my clients. Remember, when you're getting ready to fly on the plane and they're going through the safety
Mhm.
exercises and all of that, they say put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you
Right,
and help others. It'll give you the energy to save your child, to save the people that you care about or want to help. Uh,
right.
when we get into that mania of self-criticism, as you're just describing, Soumya,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
it's like a slippery slope. And what you just said was so powerful, so powerful. I have to say, I have a strong feeling that someone listening in or watching right now needs to hear more, needs more of your inspiration, other tips and tools that you've got going, sister. Like for those, and I just got to chill, for those who are listening and watching and saying, oh my gosh, I love this woman. Where do I go? How do I get involved? How do I celebrate and support her in the powerful work she's doing in the world and even maybe participating as well? Where are we going to celebrate you, Mama? Tell me.
So I'm very low key. I'm a very low maintenance person.
Yes.
I don't have a website, but I do have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. So my Facebook, I go by Soumya Gayatri, and I have a group that's weight loss support for Indian women. But everybody is welcome. These techniques apply for everybody. It's just that I identify culturally with Indian women, and I'm serving them. But these techniques apply for everybody. So come join my group. I give a lot of content and I give a lot of freebies inside the group itself. And if you want to work with me, I currently have an offer that I'm doing because of the COVID situation and everybody's at home. This is like the perfect time to kind of dial into your self care, because people are not. I'm not commuting. People are not commuting, right? You have those 2 hours or 3 hours that you spent on commute for yourself.
Mm.
It could be journaling, it could be planning your food out for the next day, and so this is such a good time to actually dial into our habits, our self care, and to dive into our own goals for ourselves, because you have that extra time on you with you, so make use of that time, right? So I have a special offer right now, so hit me up and I'm happy to share that, right? So, and I'm excited because collectively, and you know this, Victoria, that as women we have always been shown that we have to be on the go. Our moms, my grandmother, my aunts, my mom, my mother-in-law, everybody, we're always constantly on the go, right? We need to step back and dial in, especially if you're in our 30s. This is a time for us to dial in to our health. If you're in the 30s and the 40s and 50s, this is our time to dial into our health before shit hits the fan at 60 or something, and we start actually seeing the effects of bad lifestyle and bad health, right?
Yes.
And I come from a place where diabetes, hypertension, um, heart diseases have become so common in the last 20 years that we are predisposed now for that. As the next generation, we are predisposed to it. So let's step up so that our next generation is better, right? So that's one of the biggest reasons for me to do what I'm doing is, I want my kids to know. I have two kids. I want them to know what healthy living is. I want exercise and food to be a lifestyle for them, not something they have to do, uh, right? So let's step up for our next generation. If not for ourselves, we owe it to them. As mothers, as a mother, I am so hung up. I try to give them the right nutrition. I try to make sure they're studying correctly, they have the right friends. But we also need to step up and give them this information about health and wealth, because health is wealth.
1,000%. So beautifully said. Oh my goddess. Thank you, Soumya. Oh my
Thank
god.
you, thank you, thank you. I love talking to you.
Yeah, this is amazing. And I want to turn it over to our listeners and our viewers right now. How inspired are you by Soumya? Go ahead, comment below, send us email back, right? Send us PMs. Let us know how inspired are you right now, because um, we owe it to the people that we love and serve to be able to leave a legacy of health as wealth as we go forward, as Soumya so beautifully said. And with that, by the way, if this is your first time listening in to the Journeypreneur podcast, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Please make sure that you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and hit that subscribe button. When you leave your 5-star review, there's a wonderful box there for you to share your story. This is episode 126. What was the biggest thing that Soumya said that touched your heart, inspired you to really get back on your weight loss journey? And not just weight loss journey, but your healthy life journey, your self-love journey. What inspired you around what Soumya said to really take your power back? I would love to hear that. And to all those of you who have left your reviews and who shared your story, thank you for your support. It's been amazing getting to see what touched you, and it helps fuel me to keep on my journey serving you as well. So with that being said, we're going to bring this podcast episode to a close with the same thing that we say every time. Please remember to enjoy the journey. Do not lose your glow as you grow in life and business. And we'll see you in the next podcast episode. Bye for now.
Thank you.